Hello. So in this chapter, we're going to talk about observational study and experiment. So the definition of observational study is a study based on observations or measurements, and experiments is study in which the effects of treatment are measured. So that's the differences. So experiments is the effect they need to measure the effects of the treatment. The observational study is you just based on observation or just measurement without any treatment. So here are some examples of experiment. A pharmaceutical company tests a new medicine for treating Alzheimer's disease by administering the drugs to 50 elderly patients with a recent diagnosis. So the treatment here is the new drugs. A gym tests out a new weight loss program by enlisting 13 volunteers to try out the program. So the treatment here is the new program. You test a new kitchen cleaner by buying a bottle and cleaning your kitchen. The new cleaner is the treatment because the thing that you're trying to test out, which is the treatment. A psychology researcher explores the effect of music on temperament by measuring people's temperament while listening to different type of music. So the music is the treatment. So this is another example. In each scenario describing an observational study or an experiment, the weights of 13 randomly selected people are measured. So there is no treatment here. So this is a observational study. Subjects are asked to do 20 jumping jacks and then their heart rates are measured. So the treatment is the jumping jack. So this is an experiment. Next one, 20 coffee drinkers and 20 tea drinkers are given concentration test. So you're trying to measure the concentration test, but the treatment is coffee drinkers versus tea drinkers. So this is an experiment. Okay. So there's another thing called confounding. Confounding occurs when there are two potential variables that could have caused the outcome, and it is not possible to determine which actually caused the results. So for example, a drug company studied about a weight loss pill might reported that people lost average of 8 pounds while using the new drug. However, in the fine print, you find a statement saying that participants were encouraged to also diet and exercise. So in this case, it is not clear whether the weight loss is due to the pill, to the diet and exercise, or the combination of both. So in this case, confounding has occurred. So because you have more than one variables to this experience that could lead to the result, which is called confounding. Okay, control group. When using a control group, the participants are divided into two or more groups, typically a control group and a treatment group. The treatment group receives the treatment being tested. The control group does not receive the treatment. Okay, to determine if a 2 prep course would help high school students improve their score on the SAT test, a group of students was randomly divided into two subgroups. The first group, the treatment group, was given a 2-day prep course. The second group, the control group, was not given the prep course. Afterwards, they both were given the SAT. So you see the differences. The treatment group is you have the treatment because we want to test out about the 2-day prep, how effective it is to improve the SAT test. So control group is you don't give them anything, they receive nothing to the treatment. Okay, another thing is called placebo effect. So the placebo effect is when the effectiveness of the treatment is influenced by the patient's perceptions of how effective they think the treatment will be. So a result might be seen even the treatment is ineffectual. So a study found that when doing painful dental tooth extractions, patients told they were receiving a strong painkiller while actually receiving a salt water injected found as much pain relief as patients receive a dose of morphine. This is really interesting. I think this is related to some psychology. So they call it placebo effect. So placebo and placebo-controlled experience. A placebo is a dummy treatment given the control group a placebo effect. An experiment that gives the control group a placebo is called placebo-controlled experiments. You might see that a lot when you're at a pharmaceutical company trying to test out a new drug. So usually, for example, a pharmaceutical company have a new drug and then they divided, there's some volunteer participants to test out the new drug. Maybe let's say the high blood pressure drugs. So one group was given the new drug the pharmaceutical company just made, and the other group, which is the control group, usually is given placebo, such as maybe just give them vitamins, and then you don't tell them that is a vitamin. You tell them that is the new drug, and then you compare these two groups, see the effect of the new drugs. Okay, so another thing about experience is called blind study, in one in which the participant does not know whether or not they receive the treatment or placebo. So this is the participant. A double-blind study is one which those interacting with participants do not know the treatment group and who is the control group. So this means double-blind study is the participant and the researcher. They both don't know which one is which. For example, in a study about antidepressant medicine, you would not want the psychological evaluator to know whether the patient is in the treatment group or control group, either, as it might influence the evaluation. So the experiments must be conducted as double-blind study. Another example is if a researcher is testing whether a new fabric can withstand fire, you simply need to just torch a multiple sample of the fabric. There's no need for control group. Sometimes we don't need that blind or double-blind study. You just need to test the fabric. So you don't need a control group. So to test a new lie detector, two groups of subjects are given a new test. One group is asked to answer all the questions truthfully, and the second group is asked to lie on one set of questions. The person administrating the lie detector does not know which group each subject is in. Does this experience have control group? Is it a blind or double-blind or neither? So now let's analyze it. So pause the video and think about that for yourself for 1 minute. See if you got it right. So take a look. So one, we're trying to test what? We test out the lie detector. That's our treatment. So they have two groups. One is asking all the questions truthfully, answer the question truthfully. The other group is lie to one set of questions. And then the person administrated the lie detector doesn't know what group the subject is. So we know that, okay, the researcher doesn't know. So maybe this is double blind. But however, if you're the group, you were told, hey, you need to lie to this, and you don't mind about that. That is what? You know that you're lying, not lying. So for participant, you're not blind, right? So this is neither, because double blind means the participant and the research, they both don't know. But blind means the participant don't know. So that means this is either, because in our case, it's participant knows, but research doesn't know. So it's neither. Does this experience have control group? Yes. there's a control group. The treatment group is, the second group is asked to lie on one set of questions. But the control group would be what? They don't lie. They speak truthfully answer all the questions truthfully. Okay, that's it for this chapter. Very interesting. Let me know if you have other questions. See you next time.